and welcome to Prep Eve, where we revolutionize how you prepare for IELTS. After a huge success of the guided reading practice series, I am back with another series, and this time it's on the listening module. In this series, I will be covering all different types of questions that you might witness or encounter in case of your listening test. So let's get started with the very first type of question that I've picked up today. It's called short answer question. And before we go ahead and solve this question, we would first understand the instructions. So the instructions that you see on this particular slide would be common for most of the different question types, but they would have some specific elements to this question as well. So the first thing that you have to keep in mind is that you have to read the instructions carefully, and this applies to all type of questions, be it your listening test or reading test, and even in case of your writing test. So you have to read the instructions carefully. If I talk about this specific type of question, then you have to read the instructions carefully because the instructions would tell you how many words you can use to answer a specific question. So the instructions could look like no more than two words, one word only, one word and or a number, so on and so forth. Next is read the questions and underline the keywords. Now this is important because you have to read all the questions that come under this category at once and underline the keywords. Now when do you do this? When are you supposed to do this? This has to be done when you get the time. So before every part or every bit of the listening test, they'll give you some 20 to 30 seconds to go through the questions. So the audio would say something like, now you have time to read question 1 till 7. So utilize that time and ensure that you do not waste that time looking here and there, looking at your fellow test takers, or whiling away your time. That time is the most crucial time. The people who spend that I mean the people who spend those seconds carefully tend to get the answer right, because they are able to underline the keywords, think of the synonyms, as well as paraphrase whatever the question says, and then they are alert to listen to those sentences or the paraphrased version of the answer in case of the audio. So that is something you have to do. Then you have to predict the answer. Now prediction is very different from guessing. This is what I've already discussed in the guided reading practice series, so you can go ahead and watch that playlist. It's on our YouTube channel, so go watch that. And if in case you do not know the difference between guessing and predicting, so let me tell you, guessing is uh, basically without any basis. You are just not sure about the answer and you write the best possible answer that you can think of. However, predicting the answer is more logical, in the sense you read the question and you make out what the question is asking. For example, if the question is asking, when did blah 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 happen? So if the question has when in it, it would basically mean that the answer could be date or time. So when it happened on um, 10th January 2023, or it could be time, it could be like it happened at 7 p.m. So you are predicting the answer. When the question has when in it, you would know that it might be related to time or a place. So sorry, a place in case if the question is where, right? Where did something happen? So where would be a city, or maybe name of a hotel or a restaurant or a school or something of that sort. Then the fifth one is when listening, listen for keywords and synonyms. So whatever keywords and synonyms you came across here, you have to be alert enough to listen to them when the audio is playing. So you have thought about it, now you have to be alert so that you can pick it in the audio. Don't spend, now this is very important, this applies to your entire listening test. Do not spend any more time than is necessary. If you miss an answer, make a guess and move on. Why are we making a guess here? First of all, guessing is the last resort. You have to guess only if you have no idea or no clue about the answer. However, we are asking you, or as trainers, we ask students to, guess instead of leaving the answer blank. That's because there is, I'm sorry for that, that's because there is no negative marking. There is no negative marking. All your answers are either marked as 1 or 0. So even if you don't attempt, you are given 0. Even if it's a guess and it's incorrect, it's still 0. And if it is a guess and it's correct, so you get 1 extra point, 1 extra mark. So please ensure that you attempt all 40 questions, be it in your listening or reading. Do not leave any question unattempted. Please remember this. Let's get started with short answer questions. This has been picked up from one of my very favorite websites for IELTS, which is IELTS.org. This is my go-to website, and I recommend you guys to go through this website whenever you have any doubts related to IELTS, be it how to book the test, what's the format, what are the different types of questions, or even whether your city offers the retake of a single module or not. So yeah, go to this website. It's the most authentic source. Apart from that, the very first thing that we had to do in the strategies is your instructions. You have to read the instructions carefully, and here the instructions are no more than 3 words and or a number. So this is something you have to pay attention to, and or a number. So even if you do not write a number, your answer can still be correct. So you can write 1 word, 2 words, 3 words, and or a number, but you cannot exceed it to more than 3. Now we get some time to read the questions in every listening test, so you have to utilize that particular time that you get to read the questions judiciously. What do we mean by judiciously? You should not while away your time looking left and right, looking at your fellow test takers and wasting your time. You should be very alert and concentrate on the questions so that you are able to underline the keywords, then think about the synonyms and also the paraphrased version of the question. And once you do that, you will be in a position to catch those words, or basically be alert enough to attend to the words that you're listening in the audio, and that will make it easier for you to come up with the answers. So the very first thing is to underline the keywords. So actually the second thing, keywords, and then you have to think about the synonyms, or basically think about how this sentence can be paraphrased. So 2 factors that can make social contact in a foreign country difficult. So 2 factors, you have to listen to the audio and look for 2 factors that make social contact. So it could be social contact, it could be changed into, let's think about the synonyms, friendship, relationships, or group meeting, something of that sort, or it could be used as it is too, we never know, in a foreign country. So foreign country, think about the synonyms of foreign country. So an alien nation could be that. Difficult is how it is not easy, difficult, it's time consuming, or it's not practical, things like that, words like these. So you have to just paraphrase that. Which types of communities? Now listen for the conversation where they're discussing the types of community group. Does the speaker give examples of? So he's going to give examples of certain groups that are community groups, and one of them has already been mentioned, which is a theater. So as soon as you listen to the word theater, you should be attentive to fill these 2 blanks. Let's say you were not able to find the answer for 11 and 12, which is fine, but as soon as you listen to the word theater, forget about this and quickly come to the 13th question, because what's gone is gone. You cannot play the audio again. Audio is played only once. You cannot pause it, you cannot rewind it, you cannot play it again. So what's gone is gone. You need to focus on the sentence that is followed by theatre, because that will have the answer to 13th and 14th. Then, in which two places can information about community activities be found? Now we have to look for places. So places here I'm predicting. So all your questions will not need prediction, but some of them will help you in predicting. So this one, places. Where do you find information? What are the places where you find information? So places would mean probably, I would say, libraries or cyber cafes, or it could be, let's say, an advertising company, social media. Now, social media is not technically a place, but you get the idea. So, these are the different ways in which we get the information. We also get the information from newspaper and articles, but again, newspapers and articles are not places, right? So, we have to listen to two places that provide information about community activities. Now, let me play the audio for you guys, and then we solve these. Also pay attention to my pencil or my cursor, because I might be making some arrow marks on the sheet.
You will hear an extract from a talk given to a group who are going to stay in the UK.
Good evening and welcome to the British Council. My name is John Parker and I've been asked to talk to you briefly about certain aspects of life in the UK.
Okay, sorry for pausing it, but this sentence was a background statement, so they would also give you a background statement in most of the questions. Background statement, which is basically telling you what the setup is like. So here there's a person who's giving a talk about a certain topic. Now here you don't have to think about the name of the person, you don't have to memorize it, because we've gone through all of these questions and none of the questions are asking you for the name of the person. So don't have to pick up unnecessary information. There will be a lot of unnecessary information. We just have to focus on the keywords that we have underlined and their synonyms or paraphrased versions. That's it. Do not pay attention to unnecessary information.
You will hear an extract from a talk given to a group who are going to stay in the UK.
Good evening and welcome to the British Council. My name is John Parker and I've been asked to talk to you briefly about certain aspects of life in the UK before you actually go there. So I'm going to talk first about the best ways of making social contacts there. Now, you might be wondering why it should be necessary. After all, we meet people all the time. But when you're living in a foreign country, it can be more difficult, not just because of the language, but because customs may be different. If you're going to work in the UK, you will probably be living in private accommodation, so it won't be quite so easy to meet people. But there are still things that you can do to help yourself. First of all, you can get involved in activities in your local community. Join a group of some kind. For example, you'll probably find that there are theatre groups who might be looking for actors, set designers, and so on. Or if you play an instrument, you could join music groups in your area. Or if you like the idea of finding out about local history, there'll be a group for that too. These are just examples. And the best place to get information about things like this are either the town hall or the public library. Libraries in the UK perform quite a broad range of functions nowadays. They're not just confined to lending books, although that's their main role, of course.
Alright, so I hope you paid attention. I was circling certain words which were being spoken, and that's when you know that the answer to the question can be expected now. So, two reasons why social contact becomes difficult is because one is language barrier, the other one is the customs are different in each and every country. Next is types of community group does the speaker give example of. So as soon as, I don't know if you guys could hear me while the audio was playing, but I said listen for this word. So I was just listening for the narrator, or basically listening for the speaker to say this word theater, and as soon as he said it, it was music and local history groups. Then places where information, so basically if you notice, this was relatively easy when it comes to the keywords, because all of these keywords were used as it is. I do not think they have used any synonyms. So it was luckily an easy audio. But because I cannot interact with you here and I cannot hear you answer, I do not know what you guys are thinking exactly, and I cannot help you in understanding why what you're thinking is not correct. So I am just going to go through the transcript so that you get an idea of what we are looking for when it comes to the keywords. So as I mentioned, the first sentence is the background statement. So you will hear an extract from a talk given to a group who are going to stay in the UK. So this is the background statement. Then this is where I told you that the name of the person is not really important to us. And then he tells you, so I'm going to talk first about the best ways of making social contacts here. So the ways in which social contact or friendships can be created. Now you might be wondering why it should be necessary. After all, we meet people all the time. But when you are living in a foreign country, so this word is used as it is, it can be more difficult. This is also used as it is. Not just because of the language, this is your first answer, but because customs may be different. If you're going to work in the US, you'll be living in a private accommodation, so it won't be quite so easy to meet people. But there are still things that you can do to help yourself. So he's suggesting what can be done. First of all, you have to get involved in activities in your local community groups. So this is also used as it is. They have not changed it. The keyword is used as it is. Who might be looking for actors, set designers, so on. You could join music groups. So this is also the answer. Now you can write music as the answer, or you can also add music groups. That's also correct. Local history is also correct. Local history group is also correct. These are just examples. So examples, this is another keyword. And the best places to get information, this is another keyword. About things like this are either the town hall or the public library. Now they have an extra sentence on libraries. So this is how you come up with the keywords. Once you underline the keywords, you will be able to figure out the answers in a better manner. That's the reason it's important. In fact, it's very, very crucial to listen to these keywords and their synonyms. These are the answers. Another very important thing in case of such questions where they're asking you for two answers. You can write the answers in any order. What does that mean? Even if you write the answer of 11 as customs and the answer of question number 12 as language, that's also correct. If you write 14th as 14th as music and 13th as local history, that's also correct because it's the same question and two answers are there. And here as well, 15th could be libraries and 16th could be town hall. That will also be correct. So you can answer in any order. Order does not matter here. Order of the answer does not matter. So language, customs, again in either order, Now here, as I mentioned, that certain words are optional. Okay, you don't necessarily have to write the words inside brackets because these words, even if they're not written, your answer can be correct. So if you add this word or you remove this word, it will not impact your scores. So even if you write music, it gives you 1 score. Even if you write music groups, it will give you 1. However, if you just write groups, what is mentioned in the bracket, then you will get a 0. Alright. So the words, I'm repeating, the words in brackets are optional, they're not important, they don't impact your scores. Here again, it could be library, it could be libraries. I had written libraries, so that's also correct. It could be the public library, that's also correct. The town hall, that's correct, and I had written only town hall, that is also correct. So please read this and pay attention. Words in brackets are optional. They are correct but not necessary. You don't necessarily have to write the words that are mentioned in the brackets here. Alternative answers are separated by a slash. So this is one important information that is mentioned in this particular PDF. So please remember this step-by-step strategy and try to implement it. If you have any doubts, please leave it in the comment section below, and don't forget to like this video and also subscribe to our channel. There's a lot more coming up on this particular channel, so please look out for the videos on listening and speaking. Apart from that, we offer one-to-one as well as group classes. You can also enroll for the same by contacting on the numbers given below. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.